Well, good afternoon, Royal Gang. It's about 2 o'clock on Saturday, December the 21st. And it's time to do a little recap of how our cruise went last week. So make sure y'all stay locked in. Focus on me. Can you focus on me? Baby, can you focus? All right, guys. Well, let me start this off by saying I had an amazing time. If you guys haven't watched all four videos of the series, make sure you guys go watch Queen Bee TV, okay? Go watch those 4 videos so you can see kind of what I got into on the cruise. But overall, I enjoyed myself. Definitely a new experience with traveling solo, but overall, definitely had a great time. So let's get into a few things that weren't covered, or maybe that I wanted to share a few things with you guys about my experience doing a solo cruise. So I know some of y'all are here for the tea. Excuse me. Y'all want to hear about Cruise Bay. I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to Cruise Bay, okay? We'll talk about that. But first things first, let's talk about from top to bottom. Okay, let's talk about the embarkation process. So if y'all watched my day 1 video, the embarkation process for this cruise was crazy. I don't know why. I was on time for my arrival appointment time, but it just took so long. Like, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's because I picked a later arrival time, but I've done that in the past and I've never been there that long. So we stood in line for about an hour in the terminal waiting to get through security. Like, it took forever. I don't know what the holdup was, other than they were trying to get the priority guests and the faster to the fun people and all of them through first. And maybe some of them were late, but they still put them in front of everybody else that was on time. I don't know, but it took forever. It took an hour, over an hour, to get through everything from shuttle to ship. It took about an hour and a half to get on the ship. I've never had it take that long ever on any of my cruises, and this was my 6th cruise with Carnival, and by far that was the longest I've ever stood in a terminal. But of course we eventually got on the ship, but I don't know what that was about. I wasn't feeling that. That was the one thing that like really kind of irked me, was that we shouldn't have been in that line for that long. All right, so let's talk about some of the things that I really enjoyed about the cruise, okay? So I enjoyed, of course, the food, the drinks, the atmosphere. It was a really relaxed cruise for me. I enjoyed, being on the balcony, just chilling, watching the ocean, just vibing on my own. Definitely enjoyed that. Enjoyed being able to be in conversations with people, even though I was there solo, and, having a good time in the dining room with a table of like 6 or 7 other ladies. We had a blast in the dining room. Those were all amazing things that I really enjoyed. My room steward was excellent. My dining room staff was excellent. All the staff that I came in contact with had great customer service. I did buy a charm bracelet in the gift shops, and the one of the workers in the gift shop, super sweet. His name was Felix. I remember he was great. He helped me set up my charm bracelet, put it on me. We had a conversation. He told me a little bit about his history and where he's from and all that good stuff. It was really nice. I enjoyed the conversations and the interactions that I had with people. Now, if we're going to talk about the things that I disliked, of course, it was that embarkation. Okay, that was awful. I would say that's probably the only thing, y'all. I didn't really have too many dislikes other than embarkation, and then that the waters were pretty choppy. They were kind of choppy last year too. I don't know if it's just this time of year sailing to Mexico, but most of my other cruises in December have been going to the Bahamas, to the Eastern Caribbean, and it's usually not that rocky. So maybe it's a Western Caribbean thing. I don't know, but I definitely didn't like how rocky the ship was with the waters. I mean, that's not Carnival's fault. That's just Mother Nature. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't enjoy that. I got seasick the second night a little bit. I had to use my seasickness medication, and I normally don't have to. But yeah, that second night we were rocking pretty bad. It was a rocky sailing. But overall, great cruise. So let's talk about Paradise Beach, which is my excursion that I booked outside of Carnival. I normally don't book my excursions through Carnival, just because of pricing. It's a little bit cheaper to do it outside of the cruise line, and then you have more opportunity to find different things that aren't offered through the cruise line. So I've been to Paradise Beach before. I actually took Kinley a couple of years ago for her birthday, my daughter. And so I'm familiar with Paradise Beach. I did Mr. Sancho's last year, and I wasn't super impressed with Mr. Sancho's. I mean, if you're looking for a party turn up, like loud vibe, Mr. Sancho's, okay? If you're looking for the turn up vibes, go to Mr. Sancho's. Not saying it's a bad place to go, but Paradise Beach is a little more chill. And in my opinion, the food is better than Mr. Sancho's. Just my opinion, okay? But I enjoy their pool. They have a huge pool compared to Mr. Sancho's. I don't really care for the size of their pool. It's smaller, it seems more congested. There's usually more people there. Paradise Beach usually doesn't have as many people there at one time, and there's way more spread out seating compared to Mr. Sancho's. I feel like you're on top of each other. So I love Paradise Beach. I really enjoyed it. You know, they have the swings that are on the pier. They have swings by the bar. You can walk down the beach quite a ways, which me and my cruise friend did, and we sat in the sand on the beach for a little bit. But overall, Paradise Beach was awesome. You know, it's an all-inclusive. I believe it was $65 for the day. You know, you have access to the pools and all that. Of course, your water sports, your massages, any of those extras, those come out of pocket. But your food, your drinks are included. They give you great service. You know, anytime I asked for something, they brought it. And it didn't take an extreme amount of time to get it. So highly recommend Paradise Beach if you're going to be in Cozumel. It's a really great experience. You know, you take your taxis from the port. They have taxis waiting on you when it's time to go. So I liked it. I had a good time. And as y'all can see, if y'all watch day 3, I had a real good time. I did. I had probably 20 shots of tequila and a whole bunch of other stuff. Okay? But it was a good time. It was a good time. So the moment that you guys have been waiting for, okay? Because I know a lot of y'all are here for the Cruise Bay story. And then I'll finish up with my other stuff that I was going to tell y'all about. But Cruise Bay. So in that hour and a half that I was in the terminal on embarkation day, I had met my cruise friend in the shuttle when we had parked our cars at, you know, the parking lot. And we had sparked up a conversation about how we were both solo. This was her second solo cruise. And, you know, we planned to hang out. We were both, you know, celebrating birthdays. Both of us were named Brittany. So, it was a cool little meet and greet experience. So we go into the terminal together because, you know, we've made a new friendship. So we're walking through the line together. We're standing behind this gentleman. I hadn't really paid attention to him much, but after standing there for so long, you start looking around and people watching. And so I looked at his bag, and he had a wonderfully cute Michael Kors duffel bag. And y'all know I'm a sucker for Michael Kors. I had just bought myself a new Michael Kors wallet a couple of weeks ago for my first birthday gift. And so I was like, oh, that bag is nice. And that's what I said, right? So mind you, I hadn't looked at this man's face the whole time that we had been standing there, okay? So when I said that, oh, your bag is nice, he turned around and he was like, I found it outside. Very sarcastically cute, okay? And I was like, oh, well, I hope whatever's in that bag doesn't get you caught up in security. And he's like, nah, it shouldn't. I said, how do you know there aren't bricks in that bag? He's like, nah, it looks too light for it to be bricks in there. I said, you know what bricks look like in a duffel bag? And so, we started chuckling and ha-ha and kikiing. And so all three of us started talking, me, Brittany, and the gentleman, all started talking because we started sparking up a conversation while we're standing in the line, and come to find out we all are Sagittariuses. All of our birthdays are in December. So, it was another one of those moments where, oh, okay, you're celebrating a birthday. I am too. Your birthday's coming up. Okay. And then the atmosphere changed a little bit once we started standing there too long because the gentleman had to pee. And so he started getting upset with the workers because he was like, why are y'all holding up the line, bro? I gotta pee. And so we're trying to get it, like, I'm staring at both of, you know, the people I'm talking to in this little circle here, right? And the girl I'm with, she's trying to tell him to calm down before they don't let him get on the ship. And he's telling her, I'm gonna get on the ship. They can't do nothing. It turned into that. So we were all just standing there. And I guess because we were all African American people, they assumed that all three of us were together. But no, ma'am. No, sir. All three of us are solo. So as they finally let us go through the line, they're trying to put us all together to check in. And we're like, no, we're not together. So all three of us separate to go through security. And that's that. I don't think I'm ever going to see this man. Maybe once or twice on the ship, I might bump into him again. But the interaction was cute, right? Like, I was just like, okay, I could see this, you know. He's cute. Okay. So at this point, y'all, I'm worried about getting on the ship, okay? Because I've been in the terminal too damn long. And I'm ready for my guy's burger and my pina colada. So, you know, I make my merry way through security. I don't see them as I'm going through security, like the bag check and the, you know, your wine bottle check. I wasn't paying attention anymore. I'm just trying to get through the process. But now, you know, in the terminals, they have dogs that are there to catch if you have things on you that you're not supposed to have. So as I'm going through that, I see the guy. I guess he had gotten pulled or flagged by security. He must have been in front of me. He got pulled by security to like the little, they have like a little area where they go and search through all your shit. So they had him over there, but as I'm walking by, he's running out with the security man following him because I can tell he has the pee run. Like, I've held this as long as I can. I need to pee, and y'all are messing with me right now. So I'm like, oh, there he goes. But I keep going because I'm trying to get on the ship. So I think nothing more of it until I get on the ship, and me and Brittany are sitting and talking, and I'm like, I wonder what happened to old dude. I wonder if he got on the ship, because the last time I saw him, he was dealing with security. And I'm like, what if something was in that bag? And she's like, no, I saw him. He's on the ship. I saw him earlier. And I was like, oh, okay, I haven't seen him. Well, I'm glad he made it on the ship. So then Brittany, she's like, you like him, don't you? I was like, I mean, he's kind of cute. I liked our interaction that we had in the terminal or whatever, but I haven't seen him. And she's like, yeah, I saw him. So, you know, I think nothing more of it. The first day I go about my business. You know, me and Brittany hang out a couple times on the first day. I mind my business, okay? The second day, day 2, which was the first sea day, you know, I'm still minding my business the majority of the day. So towards the evening, I'm on TikTok Live, and I'm like, let's go get a guy's burger. So I take my phone, still on live, I get a guy's burger. I'm over at the topping station, putting my toppings on my burger, and he walks up on me. And I wasn't paying attention because I'm on the live, you know, and I'm building my burger. He walks up on me and he's like, hey, I thought about you earlier, you know, like, I haven't seen you. And I'm like, oh, hey, I haven't seen you either. I was like, the last time I saw you, you were running with security and I didn't know if you were even on the ship. And so he's like, yeah, that was a whole thing. And so I get off the live, right? Well, no, I go and sit at a table with my burger. Well, no, before that, I'm sorry, let me back up a little bit. So he's like, yeah. I think we talked about how he had some dominoes and he had cards, and he was like, yeah, if you want to play, you know, we can. I was like, oh, well, do you have the internet package? Because, I do. We can exchange contact information so that we can get in contact with each other in order to set up a time to play the game, to play, you know, cards or whatever. And so he gives me his phone. I put my Instagram in his phone, to follow me. And then I'm still on my live, so I go sit down at the table with my burger, and he's like, I'm gonna go get a burger. And so while he's, you know, putting his toppings or whatever on the burger, I call him over, and he comes and sits down with me, and we, you know, eat our burgers or whatever. Excuse me, y'all. I get off the live before all of that, but we sit down, we're talking. He tells me the story about what was going on with security, how they didn't find anything, that the dog alerted on him. And that was that. So we talk about that after dinner, we're going to do some pictures, like where I take some pictures of him, he does some pictures for me. So we'll meet up after dinner. And we do. So I'll include some pictures right here so y'all can see the pictures he took for me and then one of the pictures that I took for him so you can see it. So yeah, we had a little photo shoot on the ship. We took some photos of each other. It was cool. Then we go back to my room because I wanted to change shoes. And then we were going to the club to meet Brittany at the club. From my vlog, if you've watched day 2, you know I went to the club. It was too hot. I left both of them there, okay? I went and got pizza. I came back after I changed clothes. And then I still wasn't feeling the club. Apparently he was still there, but I didn't know he was there. He saw me, but he said he didn't see me leave. So, you know, I went back to my room or whatever. And then we're messaging each other that, you know, we're still set up. He's gonna come by a little bit later and we're gonna play cards or whatever. So he ends up showing up. We play a couple of rounds of Uno. I win the first round. He beats my ass like 2 or 3 other times, okay? Then we play dominoes. He beats my ass, okay? Horribly. I think I lost by like 100 points, okay? But by that point, I was a little too tipsy and I couldn't count dots on dominoes, okay? I couldn't. I was tipsy, all right? So then we go and we sit on the balcony and we're just chilling. Well, no, actually he popped my back because my back was hurting. So he popped my back and it was amazing. It was. My back felt so good. It did, but it was like how he did it was really nice, okay? But, so we go to the balcony. We're sitting out, talking, looking at the water, you know, looking at the clouds in the sky and, you know, just chilling, talking, getting to know each other a little bit. And, you know, earlier in the day, he had scrolled through my Instagram and he was like, you know, I always see you have a headset on in your Instagram posts. Like, what do you do? And so I tell him what I do. And so when he had said that earlier, I had went and scrolled through his Instagram because I was like, who is this man? I don't even know. So I scrolled through his Instagram because when he had sat down originally, when we had the guy's burger, I was like, do you play sports? Because he has an athletic build. So I was like, you play sports? He's like, yeah, I play football. I was like, oh, like you play like semi-pro or what? He's like, nah, I play for money. And I'm just like, okay. Didn't think anything of it. So when I scrolled his Instagram, come to find out he's a former NFL player. And now he's in the AFL. And so I was being nosy. I was like, oh, interesting. So while we're having the conversation, while we're sitting on my balcony, he doesn't know I've scrolled his Instagram yet. So I'm like, so how long did you play for the Rams? And he's like, how do you know that? I never told you that. I said, it was on your Instagram, sir. You scrolled mine, so I decided to scroll yours. And so, you know, he told me about his career in the NFL and, you know, why he's not in that anymore. And you know, it just turned into like a get to know you session where we're both talking to each other about each other. You know what I'm saying? So somehow we start talking about clouds and I bring up that a cloud looks like a certain type of object, if you know what I mean. And then we start talking about how I have a dirty mind and that one of my bucket list items is to get bent over my balcony. Because I had every intention of bringing somebody on this cruise and getting bent over my balcony. And it didn't happen, right? I didn't bring anybody. So we laugh about that. I stand up because, you know, my back starts hurting again and I can't sit or stand in any position for too long. It starts hurting. So I'm standing, you know, on the rail. He's sitting down. He starts massaging my back and then it turns into a leg massage. And I'm wearing a nightgown, but I don't have anything on underneath it. And I'm talking about how I have a tramp stamp. I have a tattoo on my lower back. And he's like, let me see it. And I'm like, I can't. I don't have any, you know, undergarments on. He's like, I know. I was like, how you know? You booty watching? He's like, no, it's just, I looked and I could see that there was no panty line. And I was like, So I show him the tattoo. I showed him the tattoo. I flashed him a little cheek. I did. So then we, you know, we go into this massage thing where it's like, you know, back massage, leg, thigh massage, booty massage. Then we go to the, you know, that area. And I'm standing facing the ocean. He's behind me, right? So it goes into that, you know, a little intimate spot. And there's like another cruise passing by us. There's people, like workers at the bottom. like walking around, but it's late, y'all, so nobody's out. At this point, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, right? So nobody's outside, but you know, it turns into that. And so we go inside, and it, you know what happened once we went inside. Yeah, the full Monty happened when we went inside the room. Anyways, so after, you know, what happened, we go back and sit on the balcony, and we're just chilling, and we're just talking about, you know, what we do now, what some of our future goals are, and we're just sitting there. And before you know it, the sun is starting to come up, and neither one of us have been to sleep. Mind you, he's used to this. He works overnights sometime, or most of the time. So he's used to being up all night. And at this point, I'm like, I shouldn't go to sleep because we're going to be in Mexico this morning, and I don't want to oversleep and miss my excursion. So we're just sitting there, we're watching the sunrise, and we're, you know, looking at clouds, naming clouds, what they look like. It was cute, right? Having a little moment. So he's like, no, you should take a nap. He's like, I'm going to go back to the room and take a nap. I invite him to go on the excursion with us. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to go take a nap. I'm going to set an alarm. I'll wake you up. And I'm like, okay. So as y'all can see from that video, day 3, I did not go to sleep. I tried. I could not. The sun was up. I could not go to sleep. I felt like I was not going to wake up. And then on top of that, the time changed when we got to Mexico too. So I was just like, no, I'm not going to sleep. So I stay up. From the video, y'all can see I'm trying to find Brittany. I can't find her. I call him. I'm like, hey, I'm about to get off the ship. He's like, I'm not going to go. I'm tired. I'm hurting. You know, I'm not going to go. So that's why I ended up going by myself, and you don't see him at the excursion with us. So, but since then, we've been cool. Just a little update for now. We've been cool. We still chit chat. He let me know when he got off the ship for debarkation. I let him know when I made it home. We don't live in the same city. He lives in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I'm in Houston, as y'all know, well, Katy. So we're about 4.5 hours away from each other. But we've been chit-chatting. I mean, it's not like we're on a romantic level or anything like that. We're just really just cool, y'all. Like, I can't promise that, you know, it'll turn into anything, but for now, we're cool. We talk back and forth, we chit-chat. That's about it. That's the Cruise Bay story, y'all. I don't know what else y'all thought was gonna be said, but I'm sorry. I did leave something out. So on the last night of the cruise, we were supposed to go to the comedy club together, and he was packing, and so he didn't end up showing up. But the night that he had come over originally, he left his Dominoes in my room. They fell, and the package opened up, and the Dominoes went everywhere. So he was like, I'll just come back and get them later. So the last night of the cruise, he came back and got his Dominoes, and then that's when we made that reel or that video. So while he's there, I asked him, you know, is this something you do often? Like, you just randomly meet women when you're on vacation and do this? He's like, I wouldn't say it was random. Would you say it's random? I'm like, yeah, kinda. I just met you on Thursday and we slept together on Saturday. I think that's a little random. He's like, no, random to me is like, if I was just like, yeah, let's go. He's like, we had a conversation first. We hung out. I was like, I guess. So I don't know. It sounds like maybe that does happen sometimes. I don't know. But overall, it was cool. I mean, we'll see what happens, y'all. I'm not promising nothing, okay? I'm just telling y'all what happened. It was unexpected. I wasn't expecting to meet someone on the cruise. I've never done that because usually I'm in a relationship or dating someone when I go on a cruise. So it was just one of those weird lifetime experiences that happened to happen. We were in the right place at the right time, I guess. So anyways, y'all, that's enough about Cruise Bay, okay? That's the story. So one of the last things I wanted to talk about was debarkation for the cruise. So debarkation now they're doing, I don't know if it's on all the ships yet, but I know they were testing it for a little while where they're doing digital debarkation where you can pick a debarkation time through your Carnival Hub app, which was cool. I did like that. I did do the checked luggage, so I didn't have to carry that around. But you can pick certain time frames where you can debark the ship instead of them calling people by floor, and then everybody's out of their rooms and they're all congregated in, you know, certain areas. So it was cool just to be able to walk off that way. It didn't take very long to get off the ship once, you know, your time frame is called. It's kind of like when you put in a request for a table, if you do anytime dining or if you do C-Day brunch, it alerts you through the app. And then once it alerts you, then you know to go down to deck 3 and then exit the ship. So pretty simple. I like that. That was pretty cool. Debarkation was way better than embarkation, for sure. So guys, the final point is, what was it like doing a solo experience? Y'all, I really enjoyed that so much. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I did. I could do whatever I wanted to, whenever I wanted to. You know, if I wanted to sleep in, if I wanted to get up early, if I wanted to do nothing, if I just wanted to sit on my balcony, if I wanted to participate, if I didn't want to participate, it was cool. I enjoyed that. Now, there were moments where it was like, oh, you're by yourself? Like with dining room staff and things like that. Oh, for just one? Also, one of the things as a solo experience when you're catching taxis in Cozumel, that kind of sucks. Especially because they group you with other people that may be going to, well, how they did me, I had people that were in the taxi with me, a family that was going to Mr. Sancho's, and I was going to Paradise Beach. And so they charged me $18 just for me. And then I'm sure they got to split up their cab fare. So that's the only thing about traveling solo when it comes to that, was, you know, I didn't have anybody to split taxi fare with or anything like that, when it should have been a certain amount for the whole cab. But I guess because we were going to different places, they charged me separately. I don't know, but I didn't like that. But overall, if you don't have anybody to go on a cruise with you, just go. Just go. I had the time of my life. I can't wait to do it again. I'm already planning stuff right now and I don't have no money. So go. Do it. See this world. You don't have to have somebody to see this world. You don't need a friend, a family member, a spouse, a coworker, nothing. Just go. You will meet people. You could meet possibly some really great friends, anything. You know what I mean? A future employer, a future spouse. You never know. So just do it. Enjoy your life. You know what I mean? I'm so glad I did this for my 40th birthday. This was a, you know, a milestone birthday, and I'm glad I took that leap and I did it anyway. And it was so much fun. I don't regret it. So until the next one, Royal Gang, thank you guys for tuning in. I love you all. Deuces.